Well, in other news, the Chief of Defense Staff, that's General Christopher Musa, has called on Nigerians to have love for and confidence in Nigeria and fight together for its peace and progress. The general made the comments on Monday while visiting injured personnel at Defense Headquarters Hospital in Abuja to mark Christmas and his birthday. He urged all Nigerians to exhibit love for the country, adding that running away is not a solution. General Musa called on Nigerians to take ownership of the challenges facing the country, adding that the security challenge is not an armed forces challenge or police or that of any individual. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to explore those comments. Good to have you, Mr. Sobowale. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure being here, as usual.
Of course, before we get to this topic of the day, I don't think we can ignore the unfortunate passing of the former House Speaker and the Governor of Ondo State.
Well, it is sad news at the Yuletide season.
Yeah.
But you see, death has no respect for seasons or power or individuals. Let me first of all express my condolence to the families of the two Nigerian statesmen, Gali Naba and the former governor of Ondo State. Everything that has a beginning must have an end. I was shocked when I heard the news. But then you see, they say God is the final arbiter. And God is the final full stop in anybody's life. So they've done their duty. History will, remember them for the political roles they play in the leadership of this country. But then, you see, both of them are not up to 70.
Yeah.
So they pay their dues, and let history judge them. It's too early for anybody to say anything. Let us wait for the obsequies and the rituals of their passage to be done. Then maybe at a later stage we analyze what they think they have contributed. But I assure you positively, the two gentlemen have made their mark in the annals of the history of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now to the topic of the day, of course, based on what was said, that this is not an individual fight when it comes to security in Nigeria, that all hands should be on deck, basically.
That's right.
What do you make of that comment? Do you think it's asking too much, or is it appropriate?
It is very appropriate, and it is a loaded statement. I've listened to Chris Musa, the Chief of General Staff, I think about 2 Saturdays ago. He faced a coterie of pressmen, and they gave him questions. He answered all the questions. You see, what he's saying is a reiteration of what he said. That fighting terrorists and people murdering people all over the place, like the 160 people in Plateau State on Christmas, and all over. If you look at the papers, you see murder and mayhem, a seasonal something. May the souls of all those Nigerians rest in peace. But it is for those of us who are living to ensure that that carnage does not continue. And it is checked. And that is what Musa is saying. And I go along with him. But he highlighted some things that Nigerians, especially in the war theater zones, that there are some people who are helping the terrorists. That when their vehicles break down, they help them get mechanics. They give them fuel. That is treason, literally. So what he's trying to say is that all hands must be on deck. That if all Nigerians put their hands together and say, okay, you will fight these terrorists, and they report to the appropriate authorities any strange or untoward movement of strange people in their vicinity, then those fighting will have enough intelligence to fight the culprits. And that they should not give them fake information. That will lead to them killing our own people that they are supposed to protect. And he went on to say one thing that is dear to me. You know what is happening, and he said it too, like what is happening between Hamas and the people in Gaza, that, you know, some of these terrorists in Nigeria use the same strategy of hiding among civilians and using them as human shield. And you know, when that arises, the human rights people, UN, they will come and condemn the soldiers. What he said, his own people are well trained in the challenges of war. He put it, there was a technical something like this, that they are trained not to kill women and children and not to attack places of worship. So what he's trying to say, and again, he gave us our own bit of it to media people, that media people largely glorify the antics and exploits of terrorists. To some extent, I agree with him. Because if you have watched cases of terrorism all over the world, before you know what is happening, if there is a blast, something, they say somebody is claiming credit for it. Claim credit. Do you have contact with them directly? You see, and at times it has been disproven that those people claiming credit, you get me, had no hand in it. They just want to get publicity and enhance their notoriety. You get me? So what the chief of general staff is saying is that all hands should be on deck. The same thing, the chief of air staff was in Maiduguri. You get me, on the Christmas time, and Lagwaja, the chief of army staff, was in Gombe. So they were not sitting idly, they were with their troops. And they told them that they will always give them support and that they are supposed to be with their families, but they are in the forefront and the war front of trying to protect us, Nigeria. So we should give them intelligence, positive intelligence, for them to eliminate our enemies, not intelligence that will lead to them killing our own people. So he's calling for all hands to be on deck, and I go along with him. Yes, let me stop there for now.
Right.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Sobowale, when you look at, I'd like to use the Christmas Eve attacks in Plateau State as an example, and the Middle Belt Forum have spoken out. And what they're implying is that they feel that the communities, the government, and the armed forces are aware of where these terrorists are housed, the forests that they use as their shelters and their bunkers, that it's common knowledge to all involved, including those who have the power to do something about it. So how do we move forward from that, where we say we're relying on citizens to also assist and give information, but what happens when that information is shared and they don't see anything being done about it?
Look, what the Middle Belt Forum was saying, it's something that has to be said. You get me? When these sort of things happen. Many people are not saying it so as not to escalate the situation. You get me? That's why I didn't want to mention it, but you have mentioned it. It's out of frustration and anger. What they said was simple, that the authorities know where they are. They should have gone there to dig them out. You get me? And that after some time, even the governor said it, that it's not that they cannot defend themselves, but they are law-abiding citizens. They are trained and are expected to cooperate with the legal security forces. But if they cannot protect them, they will have a way of protecting themselves. You see, even in democracy, well, it has to be said now, since you have pointed it out. In a democracy, democracy is a social contract. You get me? We give our lives. We vote for people we think will protect our lives. If they don't protect our lives, that contract is broken. The onus is on us to find those who will protect us. But hopefully we'll not get to that situation. We'll not get to that situation. Because I think Nigerians have a political socialization that gives them confidence that the government can protect them. That's why they keep on believing in democracy. That's why they keep on protesting as at when necessary. That's why they keep on writing petitions on corruption and all that. And that is why, hopefully, they are always praying for a free and fair election. You get me? But you see, Nigeria is I'm not giving any excuse. Nigeria is a big country. Big country. I served in the Northeast. You travel miles and miles miles and miles. They broke it into 6 states. But then I'm sure the amenities are not trickling down. And then, you see, don't let us forget our major problem, which is the major problem of the of the world at large. Cultural values are creeping in. Cultural values. By cultural values, I mean ethnicity, I mean religion. They are under the ground. I don't need to dilate on that here now, but look at all the issues. You see, I don't want to even mention their names, but look at it. We have a cultural divide in terms of religion, in terms of ethnicity. You get me? In terms of so many things that encircle us. But then we must live through it.
Indeed.
We must live through it. That's how I see it.
And I suppose that's why we need to take the words of the Chief of Defense Staff when he is preaching for love and community. Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much. I know you're just holding on there.
We're going to take this break.
Are you going to take this?
Okay, for obvious reasons.
Take it away.
You'll find out now. Thank you so much.